Okay, so here's a short sequence of stretches that you can do, which are really good for targeting the tight muscles that cause sciatica or sciatic pain, which is that pain that radiates often down through the glutes, so through your buttocks, into your hamstrings, and can prevent comfortable movement. So loosening up, doing some stretches, creating a bit of mobility in the hips and in the lower spine, as well as stretching out the muscles, can help to relieve some of that pain. As always, please make sure you check with a medical professional before doing any of these exercises. And if at any time you feel pain, please back off and stop immediately. All right, so we're going to start by coming down onto our backs. So coming down into a reclining position. And we're going to start by bringing our knee into our armpit. So stretching your left leg out straight, bring your right knee up, grab it with your hands and pull that knee in towards your right armpit. If it's more comfortable, you can lift that left foot and bend your left leg. So your choice, straight or bent. And then just gradually ease that knee in towards the shoulder. So you're trying to get your knee around the outside of your rib cage. So don't pull it too tight across your chest, bringing it round the outside of your rib cage and down in towards your armpit. And you can experiment here with flexing your right foot or with leaving it loose. You can maybe do a bit of movement there, so trying both. So flex and release. So flex and release, and you should be feeling some compression and some stretching down into the outside front of the right hip. All right, good. And when you're ready with that, you can swap legs, so sending your right leg away, bringing your left knee up. So again, clasping it with your hands, bringing your elbows in, and then taking that knee in the direction of your left armpit. And again, maybe experimenting with flexed foot or loose foot, flexed foot or loose foot, lovely, flexed foot and loose foot. And then just using your breathing to sink and try and get your hip bones, your sit bones grounded deep into the mat, into the floor. Nice slow breath. Stretching and creating space in your lower spine and in your hips. Okay, and when you're done with that, we're going to try a couple of seated stretches. So nice and gently coming up to seated. Stretching your left leg away from you. Bringing your right foot up and over your left knee, so the foot is just on the outside of that left knee. Left hand comes round to the right knee. Right hand goes behind you for support. And you're going to lift up. So lift really tall through your crown. And then twist and turn to look over that right shoulder. So this is a rotation in your lower spine, in the lumbar region of your spine. And it also creates a stretch across your low back. So try and keep this left foot pointing upwards, so don't let it sink into the middle. Keep it nice and straight, pointing upwards, engaged, pushing away with the heel. And then think about lifting up and then twisting down to the back. Probably want about 5 good deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, just take a little counter twist to the other side. That's lovely. And then you're going to swap round and do the other leg. So I'll turn round, you don't need to. So bringing left leg over right. Right hand comes to the outside of the left knee, left hand behind you this time. And you're going to lift up and twist round and look over your left shoulder. And really think about lifting tall, twisting round through the lower spine. And again, remember, no pain, so if it's too much, just back off a little bit, come back round to centre, and maybe just try and go back again. So no pain, just a stretch. And again, about 5 breaths here. Okay, and I'm going to come into a hamstring stretch now. So coming up onto all fours, making sure your knees are under your hips. Bring your right leg forwards and then balance on that front heel, leaning forwards over that front leg. If you can reach the mat, that's great. If not, you can just rest your hands on your thigh. But you're trying to roll and fold forwards over that right leg. So try and keep the hip square, don't fall over to one side. So if that means you're up here, that's completely fine, as long as you're feeling a stretch down the back of the leg, and in particular down the hamstring, which is that big muscle at the back of your thigh. So you're taking your forehead in the direction of your shin, pulling your toes up towards your shins as well. And the more you do that, the more you'll feel the stretch down the back of the leg. All right, let's hold that for just another couple of breaths. All right, and then swapping around to the other side. So this time your left leg's going to come forwards, and you're going to fold forwards over that left leg. Coming to wherever you can. If it's here, if you need a little bend in the knee, that's fine too, as long as you can feel that stretch through the back of the hamstring. And you're taking your head in the direction of your shin, pulling those toes forwards. And you can hold this for as long as it feels comfortable. You might find the longer you hold it, slightly more length you can get. You might be able to move your hands a little bit further forwards. But if it's too much and you're feeling uncomfortable, just back off a little bit and ease away. All right, good. So we're going to take this now into a groin and an adductor stretch. So that's the inside of your leg. So staying in your kneeling position, coming down onto your hands and knees. Try and get your shoulders over your wrists so that you're nice and square and stable. I'm going to take that left leg out to the side. So you want your toes pointing forwards. I'll shuffle along this bit so you can, this way so you can see a bit better. So toes pointing forwards, and you're going to sink back. So take your bottom back towards the heel of your right foot, and you should feel a stretch through the inside of your left groin. So you might be up here, that might be enough, or you might find you can come down onto your forearms, or if you want to and you feel ready and your body will allow you, you can come down onto your forehead. But find the place that's right for you. If you're still all the way up here, that's absolutely fine, as long as you are getting that stretch through the inside of the groin. Good. All right, and then let's come up and do the same on the other side. So I'll swap around this way so you can see. So right leg comes out to the side, toes pointing forwards, your left toes are tucked, and you're just going to sink back towards your left heel. So you're pushing down into the floor with your right foot, and you should feel that through the inside of the right groin. And again, down onto your forearms, maybe all the way down onto the mat, but don't worry if you're all the way up here. Pushing down and extending out through that leg, and you'll feel it through the groin and through the adductor. Okay, and then when you've maybe done 5 good breaths on that, work your way back up to all fours again, and we'll work through some cat-cow rolls and bumps. So again, make sure your knees are about hip distance apart, below your hips, hands below your elbows. And we're just going to start with an inhale. You're going to lift your chin, lift your tailbone, drop your belly, so curving your spine in one direction. And then as you exhale, you're going to drop your tailbone, pull your tummy up, and then pull up through your shoulder blades. So really round and dome through the upper back. All right, let's go again. Inhale. Lifting your chin, lifting your chest, lifting your tailbone. And exhaling, pushing up, doming through the upper back. So we're creating some mobility through the spine. Keep going with that flow. We're creating space and openness and mobility through the spine by rolling and waving one vertebra at a time. So really take this slowly, and at each end really extend and push. So pushing, pushing, pushing up through your shoulder blades at this end. And then when you're inhaling, really think about pushing your tailbone and your hips up high, lifting through your chin and your chest. Let's just do one more. Exhaling all the way up to domed. Okay, good. And then come into a nice neutral spine. So no more bending or flexing, just nice and neutral. And we're going to do some cat-cow bumps. So what I want you to do is just take your hips towards the left. So just imagine you're moving your pelvis towards the left, and then you're just going to twist and look behind your left arm towards those hips. And then come back to center. And then this time send your hips to the right and turn and look over your right shoulder towards the hips. Doesn't matter if you can't see them, you're just creating that stretch and that movement down through the lower spine. Let's do that a couple more times. So sending your hips to the left and then twisting and turning to look towards your left foot, left thigh, and back to center and to the right. So sending your hips to the right and twist and look to the right. And you can experiment with doing it the other way around if it feels nice. So sending your hips to the right and turning and looking to the left, and sending your hips to the left and turning and looking to the right. So maybe experiment with what feels nicest for you. Okay, and we're going to finish with a extended child's pose. So take your knees nice and wide, maybe kind of mat distance width apart. Your toes are going to come together to touch, and you're going to sink your bottom back towards your heels. It doesn't matter if it doesn't go all the way, but sink back as far as you can, and then come down towards the mat. So what you want to do is reach forward if you can, so that you're creating length through your spine. So you're pushing away with your hips and you're pushing forwards with your hands. So really push and sink. And then if you can, take your forehead down to the mat and just soften here. So your aim here is to create openness and space through the lower spine area here. So really think about softening, sinking. And if you're still up here, that's totally okay. If you're a long way up here, you can always grab a bolster or a cushion, pop it on your legs, and then sink back onto that, and then come down. But if you can, get reasonably close to your heels, and just push back and sink. And then when you're ready, you can just roll up. You can maybe do another final roll of cat-cows just to loosen that spine off. And hopefully that'll give you a little bit of relief from sciatica pain.